Hi! So in the last lesson, we looked at how a question setter creates an RC passage. Obviously, the question setter was me, but all the question setter behaves like that. Okay, now let's get deep into options. The question setter's mindset while creating options. Let's make sense of this. Now, this is what we have. We have got a passage. The passage is going to be 500 words. Passage is a friend. He is an angel. This is a person that we should be loving because this is a guy who helps us do well in reading comprehension. We have done our very best in the previous module to try and understand the passage, read better, get the key ideas. Now we'll have to deal with the question setter. The question is framed. 4 options are given. 1 is correct, 3 is wrong. Either question will be framed something like this: which of the following is the truth? Which means one of the answer choice is the truth. Other 3 answer choices are not the truth. Sometimes it's framed differently. Each of the following is true except the wrong answer is the one that is, or the correct answer in this case is not the truth. And the wrong answers are the truth. Whatever it is, we got to differentiate between what is the truth and what is not the truth. That's what we'll have to understand. We get stuck in options. We can't find the truth. Whatever is the truth, in this case, the correct answer, in this case, the wrong answer, because this question is about except. Whatever is the truth has to be from the passage and passage alone. Passage is the only guide. Yet, we get stuck. Sorry. Okay, I should have water, but that I'll do after this lesson. Let's carry on. Let's understand truth meter. Okay. Let's think about truth meter. Is a statement true or false? We got a statement here. Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. Okay, treat the statement to be true. In fact, it's true. I think that I started from the year 2001 is when I started doing whatever I'm doing. Oh, I'm really old. All right. Now, let's draw some inference from this particular statement and you tell me whether it's true or false. The first one is this. Gejo has more than 5 years of teaching experience. And you would say, he has been teaching for the past 25 years. Gejo has more than 5 years of teaching experience. That has to be the truth. Right? You have to understand when you look at truth, right? The truth can be either paraphrased or the truth can be implied. Here is the truth that is implied. This statement is different from this statement. Though obviously Gejo is there, teaching is there, teaching is there, right? And but here 25, we don't find here. We see here number 5 here. That is not mentioned in the original statement, but it's still the truth. This is an implied truth. Or we could just paraphrase this and give it. Okay, for example, Gejo. Instead of teaching, we could say training students, or Gejo has been a faculty, or Gejo has been a teacher. Let's go to that. Gejo has been a teacher for the past 25 years. That could still be the true statement. It just has been paraphrased, right? Sometimes, right, we read the true statement, yet we feel like, I don't think it is a true statement. You know why that happens? Because the question setter does not write in the options, right? In the options, what of the truth in the option and the truth in the passage? This is not exact verbatim statement. The question setter doesn't use the same words. It is either paraphrase or it is implied, always. So one of the skill set that we must have is we must have the ability to identify both paraphrased truth and also this implied truth. That we must have. Most of the time the problem happens when you assume that alien words equals to alien ideas. No, alien words is not always equal to alien ideas. Sometimes it is, but not always. we can use different words. Whatever is the statement, the words that has been used in the statement and the words that have been used in the passage could be different. This could be, let's say this could be a different words that has been used in the particular, in the passage, the word that has been used and the words that have been used in the options could be different. Yet the idea can remain the same. That is what the question setter does. Now let's move on to another statement. Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. Gejo's teaching experience is less than 3 years. You're like, what? That has to be false. If this statement is true, that he's been teaching for the past 25 years, this statement is something that I'll say is definitely false. Easy to identify. Most of us assume that the wrong answer means something that is false. That is an assumption. We are looking at a contradiction. We are looking at absolute lies in the wrong answer. That's what you're looking at. But what we fail to understand is there are these gray areas. Oh, there are. Okay, let's look at this statement. Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. Gejo is married. Is it paraphrased? Is it implied? No. But can you say it is a false statement? Again, sir has been teaching for 25 years. Who's going to marry him now? You can't say it's false. I could be married. I could not be married. Who knows? You will have to say that this one is something that cannot be determined. We don't have enough information that is from here to determine this particular statement. We just don't have. It has to be in this middle. This one is still true. This one is false. A statement that is false is still something that is not true. But the other kind of non-true statement, which we'll call as this uncertain stuff, from an option perspective, this is wrong. Not because it is false, but because we don't have information to arrive at this inference. Now we could carry on. Gejo is a great teacher. No, how? Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. He could be a horrible teacher, could be a great teacher. There is also something that is uncertain. There is also something that is not true. It is not true not because it is a false statement, not because it contradicts, but because we just don't have enough information to arrive at this particular conclusion. Oh yes. Gejo has significant teaching experience. Now here you'll have to, teaching expertise, not even experience. It is getting into expertise. This is Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. This is talking about experience. Expertise is something that is different. Now you could say whether significant, 25 years significant, probably yes, but does he have expertise? It's like saying the same thing. Is he a great teacher? Is he an awesome teacher? We don't know. This has to be uncertain. This seems to be a very factual statement. Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. This seems to be like a praise. This statement never intended to be any praise. It's merely saying a fact. Gejo has been teaching for the past 25 years. This is doing something else. Oh, this evil question setter has a lot of different truth. Lot of different ways to handle the options. One is whatever is the truth, it will not be verbatim. It will not use the same words. The truth in the options is going to be either something that is paraphrased or something that is implied. Yet the idea is absolutely aligned with the particular passage. For all the wrongs, it can be either absolute false statement or it can be things that are uncertain. What the question setter does is to trap you by giving this uncertain stuff. That's what the question setter does. The problem happens is because we are not able to identify the truth, the paraphrase or the implied ones. And we are not able to identify the uncertain ones. False statement is usually very easy to identify. A truth Told in a different fashion is difficult to identify. Statement that are uncertain is difficult to identify. Now, this is the passage. I hope you saw this. This is adapted from a 19th century book, right? Obviously, what is being written here is like old thought. I mean, ignore it, okay? So the first thing that we do is obviously read and understand what it's trying to say. I have often had an occasion to remark the fortitude. Fortitude means strength, with which women sustain the most overwhelming reverses of fortune. I think the claim number one is that women is able to sustain the most overwhelming reverses of fortune. Those disasters which break down the spirit of a man and prostrate him in the dust. Prostrate is actually falling down in the dust. Seems to call forth all the energies of women and give such intrepidity and elevation to their character that at times it approaches sublimity. So basically, so far what we know is that there is, in the context of whenever misfortune happens, women sustains, men do not sustain. Nothing can be more touching than to behold a woman who, while treading the prosperous path of life, had appeared gentle, dependent, sensitive to life's minor roughness, suddenly rising in mental strength to be the comforter and support of their husband under misfortune, and abiding with unshrinking firmness the bitterest blast of adversity. Now I know that you might be saying, sir, this particular passage is a really sexist passage. Yeah, it is okay, 19th century is okay. This is just for reading comprehension. Please don't kill me. Okay. All right. So, but one more point that is given is women supports and comforts their husband. So the claim that is being made is women not only sustain, they are also the comforter and the supporter of their husband under misfortune. This is what it is, right? This is the passage. Clean. You could take an idea from here that says that women supports their husband during times of misfortune. That's an idea. All right. Now, if the question is framed like this, which of the following presents the main idea of the particular paragraph? We know this is the main idea. Women support husbands under misfortune. We can actually see here, women often provide support and strength to their spouses in times of misfortune. Obviously, when you look at this, it's been paraphrased. The word spouses has been used instead of the word husband, but it's the same thing. Your spouse is whom you're married to, the women married to their husband, right? Provide support and strength. Now, strength is fine. Comforter and support for their husband and misfortune, and bearing with unshrinking firmness. They'll be very firm, which means they are giving strength. That particular word is not used. Women often provide support and strength. Often is also absolutely nice word, because I've often had an occasion to remark the fortitude is something that often happens. It happens in the context of misfortune. This happens in the context of misfortune. You see that every single statement is truth. When you look at this truth, this is like 100% truth. And it's also the main claim that is being made. Now we need to understand what are the problems. I mean, these are all wrong, and why are they wrong? Women often provide emotional strength to a husband within marriage. Now you would say, wait a minute, so what's the problem here? It seems to be a true statement. It seems to be a true statement. What is wrong with option number one? It seems to be right. The problem is issue of what I don't want to call the scope issue. Why is it a scope issue? What is the passage telling us? What is the context in which the passage is telling us? The passage is telling us that we have the context of misfortune. The passage is specific to the context of misfortune. Within marriage, things can happen in the marriage. A lot of things can happen in marriage. But the context is very, very specific to the context of misfortune. And in this context, we understand from the passage that women support their husband during that particular context. This is saying that it happens within marriage. In general, the husband is like, hello, baby. Come here. I have decided to cheat on you. Oh, no problem. I will give you emotional strength. What? No! I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. It's probably likely the case. You would say, sir, but within marriage, misfortune is within marriage is not. But if you look at the main idea, it's not to talk about what happens within marriage in general. It's what happens in the specific context of misfortune. There's a scope issue. The scope can either broaden more than what is given in the particular passage or make it narrow. So when you read answer choices, you're actually reading words. Women often, what is the subject? Women. What is what is a verb? They provide what? Emotional strength to the husband. But the issue is this context has created issue within marriage. We don't require too many words to create a problem. A right answer choice needs to have every single word to be aligned with the particular passage. Wrong answer choice, all we need is one or two words. That's it, which is why we're going to call it the rotten word. That one part absolutely ruined the sentence. Okay, look at this. Men are largely incapable of handling adversity, whereas women consistently display moral and emotional superiority. Now, as I said, there is nothing wrong here. Even forget about main idea. Forget about whether it's a main idea or not. Isn't that truth? Men are largely incapable. You know what this is? Here if you look at the author here, like let's look at the author and author's attitude. You would say that author's attitude towards women in this particular passage, the wife, is pretty positive. But is author looking at men like this? Stupid! One misfortune happened and you're on the floor crying, get up! Look at your wife! Wife is helping you. It's not. He's very neutral. He's saying men are largely incapable of handling adversity, means you can actually see it is like an opinion. It's look at there is an absolute tone issue. There's a tone mismatch. The way in which the answer choice is framed is saying incapable of handling adversity. It says that those disasters which break down the spirit of a man. That's it. That's all the passage is saying. And prostrate in the dust. It break down the spirit of the man. When misfortune happen, men break down, yes, but is mentioned not with any sort of condescension. It is mentioned just like that. Second of all, the objective here is not even to compare these two situations. That's also another issue. Of course, you could say that this is like whereas. Women consistently display moral and emotional superiority. And you could even say that this emotional superiority, what is being said here? Women are better than men. So you could say, first of all, there's a tone issue. You could say there's a tone mismatch. A tone mismatch happened. But what the author intended, intention of the author in the passage is different from the intention of the author in the option. The weakest of the female can be the source of strength when the occasion calls for it. Weakest! The weakest of the female, that's extreme. You know what? One of the things that can happen in a wrong answer choices, there could be multiple problems. But we can just identify one problem and then say, it's a rotten word, I'm just going to chuck it. We do not evaluate everything. There's also one more problem here, by the way. Can be the source of strength. First of all, that itself is a problem. Women can be the source of strength. For whom? Hello? I don't know you. But can you I am in little bit of trouble. Can you help me? No, some random person on the screen. Source of strength to the source of strength to the husband. This is broad. You could this is a scope issue. Because source of strength, the important subject is missing. And the third issue that particular option has, when the occasion calls for it. What occasion? Baby, मौसम मस्त है. Support na. What occasion? I mean, of course, one is the problem that you can also have a scope issue here. It could be multiple problem, but one of the thing, it's an extreme stuff, right? Look at this. Society should formally recognize and reward women's emotional labor during economic and personal crisis. Society should formally recognize. Where does this come from? It's an alien issue. It's an alien idea, not alien words. Alien idea. It's an alien idea. Second of all, you could say that is what society should do. You could say that is extreme. Third of all, society should formally recognize. What is this? There is a tone mismatch as well. I mean, you can identify it into multiple issues. It doesn't matter. How do you slot this? Okay, this doesn't matter, right? What matters is that you've identified it to be something that is not true. I don't know whether society should formally recognize or not. I don't know what, but at least from this particular passage that we have, we can't arrive at the conclusion. Biological differences make men inherently more resilient. Men are more resilient to women and adversity. Men are more resilient than women. Men break down. This is actually false. This is a lie. This is absolute contradiction. That's a lie. Now look at this. Women are capable of displaying greater resilience than men during prolonged adversity. Now, women are capable of greater resilience than men during prolonged adversity. This actually is a true statement. There is no problem. But the issue is, the question is asked as the main idea. Okay, it is mentioned, this particular part is mentioned, the women sustain the reverse of fortune, men break down. Now, this particular sentence does not make the mistake that sentence number 2 is doing. Men are largely incapable of handling adversity and women are superior. No, that's not the tone. Women are capable of displaying greater resilience than men. That is a true statement. This is presented as a factual statement. It's not presented as sort of a demeaning men. This is presented as demeaning men. This answer choice number 2 is presented as demeaning men. This is not. It is a true statement. But the problem is, the question asks about the main idea, and that is not the main idea. The main idea is a fact that not only women are able to sustain reverse of fortune, they actually comfort and support the husband under misfortune. They are during that period of time. The idea is that women often provide support and strength to their spouses in time of misfortune. That is the idea, and not this. So this is what I'm going to call a sidetracks. Sidetracks is essentially those statements which could be true. A lot of different ways type can be created. This is how the question is using words from the particular passage, but does not answer the question. Twisting ideas in the particular passage without answering the question. Oh, this is one of the key thing that the question that uses to trap you. But what do you actually see here? It could be a scope issue. It could be a tone issue. It could be something that is extreme. It could be an alien idea, or it could be an outright lie, or it could be sidetracks. That's our steals. That's it. Answer the question will be answer choice number 7. Sorry, this one moved. Oops, what's happening? Answer choice number 7 would be answer choice to this particular question. We need to learn a few things. Learning to read options properly. Now, we just don't know how to read options. The way in which you have to read the options is finding out if there is any flaw in the option. That's how you want to read. We want to look for the flaw. We need to spot the truth, whether truth is paraphrased or truth is implied. And we have to spot the steals. And I'm going to spend a good amount of time helping you dealing with all of these 3, and that's what you're going to learn next. And I hope this made sense. Goodbye.